Good morning. Uh, we are from Savannah Group. In this time, we want to present our presentation. But before it, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Friska Intisyagian, and my friends are Astrid Sinaga, Patrihuta Soit, Cici Simamora, and Mega Sumbayak. Our topic today is professional development for English teacher. So please enjoy our video, guys.
The potential of partnership, mentors, and school-based initial teacher education through coming to terms with English, student, teacher, mentors, and the subject of English. Since the 1980, school-based mentoring has come to play an increasingly prominent role in supporting the initial preparing induction, and early professional development of teachers in many parts of the world. During this time, considerable time, energy, and funding or resources have been expended on the development of mentoring programs and on the process of mentoring beginning teachers. The article examines the value process of mentoring beginning of such developments by reviewing the international evidence base and showing what is currently known and not unknown about mentoring beginning teachers. We begin by briefly outlining the historical development of mentoring in teacher education and the major factors which have prompted its rise before discussing issues relating to our review of research literature. In the main body of the article, we discuss the current evidence on mentoring beginning teachers, notably on the potential benefits and costs of mentoring, and those factors which tend to maximize the former and minimize the latter. The growth of mentoring for beginning teachers since the 1980, many countries have seen a massive increase in the number of formal programs of school-based mentoring for beginning teachers. In our own context, for example, in the early, the national government mandated student teachers should have participated at least 2/3 of their postgraduate initial teacher preparation course in school where practicing teachers should play a major role in supporting their attainment for government-specific teaching competence (now standards). The initiative was subsequently extended to encompass mentoring support as part of a broader program of induction for newly qualified teachers. The modern rise of mentoring as a means of supporting the initial and early professional learning of beginning teachers can be traced to a number of developments. In England, it was introduced as a central feature of early university school partnership programs, such as the Oxford University Internship, pedagogical attempt to overcome the theory-practice dualism from the academic to traditional higher education institute collect-based programs. Thank you.
To what we know about mentoring beginning teachers, even in the best research areas of mentoring beginning teachers, there are limitations with the evidence base, most often relating to the fact that the research is based predominantly on mentees and mentors' perception and accounts. We revisit this theme later. Third, what we know about mentoring beginning teachers in sections 2. We identified a number of issues concerning which the evidence base is lacking. This related to 1. The cost effectiveness of mentoring compared with other methods of supporting and facilitating the early professional learning of beginners teachers. 2. How far and by what means mentees' willingness to be mentored can be increased. 3. The impact of mentoring in the short or longer term on the learning of pupils taught by mentors and mentees. 4. Whether
For discussion. Limitation. Before we conclude, we wish to remind the reader of the limitation both of the evidence based in general and of this particular review of literature. First, while there has been an explosion of research into beginner teacher mentoring in the last two decided certain problems with the evidence-based remain, which make us hesitant to claim that any particular conclusion concerning the mentoring of beginner teacher have been established. The main issue here is the most studies rely solely on the account of mentees or mentors in the bracket and occasionally both, normally allocated via interviews and or surveys, while Smith and Ingersoll observed that few studies compare outcome data from participant and non-participant in the mentoring programmers. Being examined and Ingersoll and Kralik 2004 number 6 bemoaned the fact that most studies do not or are not able to control for other factors that also could impact the outcome under investigation, such as school level influence on beginner teacher, job commitment, and retention, although we would argue that the lived experience of mentees and mentors are pivotal to understanding the process at work that mentors. Accounts are, thus, perhaps the single most important search of evidence relating on to the practice of beginner teacher mentoring, and that the weight of evidence in support of many of the common findings presented above is considerable. We also recognize that participant account can lack validity or credibility for various reasons. For example, the concept of social desirability suggests that research participants have a tendency in their interaction with research to seek to present themselves in a favorable light. See Dingwall. Next, conclusion. Conclusion and implication. It is clear from the synthesis of research evidence presented here that beginner teacher mentoring has great potential to produce a range of benefit for mentees, mentors, and school. Yet it is also clear not only that this potential is often unrealized, but that on occasion mentoring may even have the potential to do harm. It is our belief that the disadvantage and limitation of mentoring as discussed above are not the inevitable consequence of its use as a means of supporting the professional learning and development of beginning teachers, but rather proceed from a failure in the bracket at policy institutional and or individual levels to ensure that what we refer to as the constituents of effective mentoring are met. It is perhaps unsurprising that research has found instances of poor mentoring practice when studies have also found that mentors are often given insufficient in the bracket or no, and the decisional time in which to carry out their roles in the bracket Hobson et al. 2007. And although given the lack of conclusive evidence on the matter, or in the bracket Smith and Ingersoll, we can only hypothesize. We strongly suspect and at least some example of poor practice and other negative side effects of mentoring can be attributed in part at least to problems of mentor selection and preparation.